What's going on, everybody? Mike here. How we doing today? I got a new part in for the Subi. COBB has released a new Redline series which has some carbon fiber parts in it, and what I got in today, bam, is the alternator cover. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. It's pretty easy. Do note that I do have the intake coming, so it's gonna replace my SF intake. We can see it down here. Since it is gonna be completely removing and replacing it, I will be making the video that has more information in it regarding like intake temps to see if that gets changed. I'm gonna actually take a laser at different points on the box to see if maybe the carbon fiber deals with the heat a little bit differently. I don't know, I'm gonna make it interesting. So anyways, stay tuned for that. So let's go ahead and get this new alternator cover installed. So to get this thing installed, obviously we gotta open up the box. So it's gonna be kind of a half-ass unboxing here. If I can get my knife to cooperate. And I don't want to go too deep and scratch this beautiful, from what I've seen, it should look really, really nice. I mean, I'm a fan of carbon fiber in general, but we'll see. Oh, look at that. It's already got some of that break and seal foam, so look at that. That's nice to see. So we got some stickers with typical COBB fashion. Those won't be going anywhere but the trash can. Nothing against COBB, I'm just not a sticker guy. We got the mounting hardware. Looks pretty minimal compared to the parent one I have, which I'll be taking off. And a bracket. Looks like a really nice aluminum piece, or is it steel? I think it's steel. Yep, so a nice steel piece. Nothing aluminum, so nice and rigid, that'd be good to use. So we'll get that installed and see exactly where that goes after I read the instructions, if there is any. And packaged by Matt. Thank you, Matt, whoever you are. That's all we got in there. All right, so like I said, it has that nice, you break it open, I'm assuming you break it open and the foam expands around the product. So let me get this out of here without breaking it. Boop, got it. Get that out of here. It's wrapped in plastic. I like that it's wrapped many, many times. I do dig when they take the time and care to wrap it more than once. Oh, they got it wrapped 3 times. So COBB is taking the time to make sure this gets to me in good fashion. And bam, look at that shiny beast. And first impressions is this is a very, very nice quality carbon fiber piece. And it is indeed carbon fiber all the way through and through. You see through there? Yeah. It looks like several sheets are laid down onto it to make this one. So I'll go ahead and get a little pan shot here. See some kind of carbon fiber. It looks like a 2x2 twill weave. And a little bit of burring in here, but that's not gonna affect anything. Oh, it looks like the rivets, oh, the rivets are rattling, that's what the noise is. All right, so we'll go ahead and get pan right here. So we can see how nice and shiny this is. After I get my fingerprints all over it. Let's go ahead and get that turned over the right way so you can see it. For any of you out there that are super interested in what this piece looks like, and there's not really much about, talking about it because it's nothing performance related. But I'm gonna go ahead and check out the instructions. It should be pretty straightforward and get this mounted on the car. Hopefully I don't need any items on the car that's supposed to be factory because I took those off. So I might have to go dig through some parts, but I'm gonna see about how to install it here in a minute and then we'll go ahead and get it going. All right, so let's go ahead and get this parent one off. I am not a fan of this. It looks all right, but it's big and gaudy. And it served its purpose for a while, so can't wait to get this carbon fiber one put on. The biggest complaint I have with it is getting the nut off on this side. It's just a pain in the ass and it always drops down. Or you have to use tape and a socket to get in there. It's a good product, I'm just not a fan of it. So let's go pull this thing off here. And again, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's kind of a three-handed thing. To get it installed is kind of a pain in the ass. Taking it off is not a big deal. Not a big deal taking it off. It's putting it back on, it's a giant pain in the ass. So we got the nut and the screw. And nope, there it goes. Like I said, it's always, at least it fell off right there on the top of the timing cover. That's a plus, because you're always having to fish hardware. Oh, and it's an aluminum. No, it's steel. There we go. All right, so we got that. Let's set these to the side, because I'm going to be selling this. Let's keep my little magnet handy, if I could talk. And this one, I want to say, just screws in to the bracket itself. But the problem is there's also these spacers underneath that the parent uses that I'm also not a fan of. Nope, like that. You'll see what I'm talking about. And there it goes. They use these spacers to lift it up high underneath here to give it some height above the alternator. And that's why I'm not a fan of it, because one always falls down into the abyss. So I'm gonna go ahead and fish that out and then we'll continue. All right, so I kind of looked this over and it looks like this bracket down here is actually being replaced with the other bracket, which means that this intake snorkel is gonna have to come off. I'm gonna have to rotate the power steering pump pulley clockwise to get to the bolt that's holding this, because what I'm believing is happening is that this then gets dropped down in place of this, and this comes up top, and then this sits up here with a screw through it, and then that other riser we saw sits on top of here with a screw. And I'm gonna have to go find this grommet, because without that grommet, I can't use this little plug insert. From what it looks like, this plugs into the grommet, and then this screws in the top of there, like this, with this bracket underneath. So what we need to do next is take the snorkel off, get this bracket off, install this bracket, and go from there. COBB, not as easy as I thought it would be. Perrin, got you on this one so far. All right, so let's hypothetically go with mine was still on here. And it went like this. Wait, no, it went like that. So it's still on here, which means that there's a rubber grommet right here that this snaps into. That needs to be still left in here, which you take out for the Perrin one. So if you're using your stock one, obviously take that out, and we're gonna take this rubber grommet back and put it back in this hole where it belongs, which is what we're doing right now. Maybe. If it wants to go in, you're back in your home where you belong. You go back in your hole. You know what's good for you. There we go. Rubber grommet back in there. Now we take this little metal piece, which seems like the easiest thing to do. There we go. Look at that. Easiest part of the install, I'm guessing. So let's go ahead and take off the snorkel, since clearly we have to get to a bolt down here. All right, so we got that. Take that off. That was just metal down there snapping. No big deal. Just kind of popping like this. All right, so now we need to rotate that pulley. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a wrench and put it on the pulley, and then turn it clockwise until one of these holes lines up so I can feed a socket in there and undo the nut. Not too hard, just more complicated than I thought it would be. All right, so you're gonna take your big boy 19 mil and you're going to take it and rotate until you see that bolt in there. And again, rotating, if you're looking at the motor clockwise, you don't ever wanna go counterclockwise. The motor does not like that direction. And it looks about good. And then let me go ahead and grab a ratchet and we'll go ahead and pull that off. All right, so we got a ratchet and a 10 mil. Should feed right in there, no problem. And this looks like I gotta take the whole thing off because it doesn't look like it has a cutout in it. So, without losing this nut into the abyss, let's see if we can get this off. I'm just trying not to lose this damn bolt off in here. All right. My luck is, you know what, we'll get the magnet. Should be steel, right? Yep. Gotcha. Always, if you're gonna do any work on your car, grab a small magnet and a big boy magnet, because you'll use them more often than you thought, or more often than you think. All right, so that bracket's off. Let's go ahead and grab this other bracket. All right, so let's go ahead and drive that bolt back in so we can put this new bracket in place. But what I recommend doing, especially if we're going up inside things, is to take a little bit of masking tape. Go ahead and save a little bit extra right here. And I like to set it in and press the nut or bolt into it, and it kind of captures it in there. That way you can feed it in there, and the risk of dropping is a lot lower. Let's go ahead and feed it in, get it started in there. Remember, don't cross thread, don't use power tools, just simply use hand tools. That's good. Now, can we get that tape off? That usually tends to be the one caveat of this. Let me grab some pliers. All right, so just grab some needle nose pliers, pull that tape out of there. You don't need that in there anymore. Should be able to grab it. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and drop this bracket down in here and start getting this tightened up. And I'm not gonna cinch it down quite yet because I don't know exactly where this is supposed to sit to bolt up. So we'll come back underneath after these top two are connected and tighten this up. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our brand new pretty carbon fiber piece and get it set up on top. And COBB did supply the hardware and an Allen tool. So go ahead and run those in one at a time without losing them into the abyss. And we're just gonna put these in finger tight, nothing snug on here. And we should be able to access that bolt underneath. And in case you were wondering, for those guys who do have the COBB inlet pipe, it looks like it barely just clears the inlet pipe. Oh, get in there. Let's just see if we don't lose this nut down in there. Come on. You can do it. Get in the hole. There we go. So go ahead and run this in. And you gotta remember this bracket should be loose set in here. So finger snug. There we go. And it looks like it's quite literally just butted up to the COBB inlet pipe. And looks like everything's clear underneath here. I'll tell you what, that does go pretty darn close next to the alternator. I like how low profile it is compared to the parent. The parent sat way up here. It's also clearing my Mishimoto radiator coolant pipes, or coolant hoses. So I'm digging that. So let's go ahead and get this all snugged up, and we'll come back for some final thoughts. There we have it all said and done. I think she looks good. Now, I was kind of gigging it earlier for the install. Install's not that hard actually. Compared to the parent where you have to have those spacers and you have to get your hands up underneath there, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to. But the hardest part is just getting this bracket, the factory bracket replaced with the new riser for COBB. But honestly, that now becomes permanent. So for any kind of maintenance that you have to do to take this alternator cover off, it's just these two little hex, what do you call those, button head cap screws. Thing comes right off. Pretty happy with that. So in terms of maintenance, this will be a lot easier to use, not to mention it looks dope. So for those of you interested in this, hope this video helps with you guys a little bit. Hopefully the install helps for you who are not as mechanically inclined. But I'd recommend to go ahead and clean it up with some alcohol before you run it, and go ahead and get some shots after this, and hope you guys have a great day.